everybody, my name is Allison Ostrander and I am the Director of Risk Tolerance as well as an Options Specialist here at Simpler Trading. And today I wanted to discuss in this video the SPX lotto pin trades that I've been doing a lot of this year. For those of you that are familiar with the $500 challenge, you might have seen these come across in the alert section over at Simpler or following along with me on my Twitch channel at Allison Trades at twitch.tv. But in general, this has been, I feel like, an overall great strategy that has helped me be able to grow my accounts as well as cover some losses this year. And it has been wonderful to implement because you just focus on it at the close of day, right? So usually I don't enter the trade until like the last 40 minutes of market, maybe. So, the last hour is when you might start paying attention to the charts and gearing up for this strategy. You don't hold any of the risk overnight because you're looking at SPX same day expiration into the close. For those of you who don't necessarily like to day trade, or maybe you're limited on your day trade, so you're mindful of how many you use, then you can always let it cash settle. That's what I typically have done in the $500 challenge account. I've only actually day traded this one twice in that account. Typically, I let them cash settle. And then, of course, though, if you are able to day trade, if you're not limited, or if maybe you want to use one of them, you certainly can. And if you want the better win rate, of course, it's through the day trading. So for example, I wanted to discuss Friday's trade idea. We are looking for this to move overall higher, ideally going up towards 41.50. But one of the key things about this trade is making sure you stay within your risk tolerance and the risk versus reward. And so I was at first looking at the 41.40, 41.50, some sort of broken wing butterfly there potentially, but unfortunately the cost was just a little bit too much outside of what I'm usually looking at for risk tolerance on this trade idea. So because I liked how the Bollinger Bands, of course, were opening up, the bullish sentiment overall, I just decided to go one strike set higher. And I mentioned, of course, if we start to stall, if we can't break somewhere, that might be a good time to consider locking this in and day trading. So for anyone who is following along with me on the mic that day, either in the Profit Recycling Mastery or in the day trading room, right, I talked about how you might want to consider just day trading this one and locking in a profit. And as I've gone back through the $500 challenge account, the day trading win rate is about 73, 74%. If you let it cash settle, it's been about a 40% win rate. Now, the key, of course, is if you make your risk tolerance small enough, the winners can help offset the losers and keep you net ahead. Like I've mentioned, I am mainly let these trades cash settle in my account, especially in the $500 challenge account, and I'm still up overall for the year in SPX quite nicely, even with taking the losers that we had like today on Friday. So this was a great one where we stayed within the risk tolerance, right? So it still keeps us overall net ahead. But at the same time, it does prove the fact that day trading has the better win rate. So we jumped into this around 225, 226. Whenever it started to break this level here is when we started to look at it, and I ended up getting the fill on the trade idea I was looking at. You can see here we played it up. We went down into support again. That might have been your entry if you're trying to be conservative on risk. And then we went up towards 41.40. And at the time, right, so we're about what, like 10 minutes later from entering this trade roughly. And you can see here that the trade was worth at the time, the spread, about $1.83. I got in a fill at $1. I know some of you guys got less. So if you had taken this as the day trade, it would have made for an easy win, especially once we started to confirm that we are holding this level as support, right? When we see that start to go through, we went back down. We're starting to bounce back up again, right? This was going towards our second test of 41.40. And then, of course, it started to fail. Even at the second test, if you just went up into that range and then found yourself stalling again, right, you would have been able to at least recoup your capital for break even or get the majority of it back if you still want it to day trade, as we tried to get just a little bit higher into that level. Unfortunately, though, if you were like me and you let it cash settle, right, let's just go to close of market here, then you ended up out of the money, right? We were never quite able to break 41.40. So even with the butterfly I was looking at with those initial strikes, right, I would have had a full loss on that. And that is why this strategy is key to really stay within the risk tolerance, because if you have a good risk versus reward scenario, right, if you can easily make 100, 200% return on a trade idea and then some, right, and then maybe aim for even the bigger amount, it allows you to be able to offset those losers and ideally still keep you net ahead overall, which is exactly where I still find myself in my accounts with SPX, because with this trade idea, right, and using the strategy, which has been certainly a constant one, it's been one of the main ones in my challenge account this year, that ability to keep your risk in mind and keep it small is how that offsets. If I had gone with the 41.40, where it was almost double my risk tolerance, right? I got him for $1 instead of like $2+ on the trade idea. So instead of losing $2+, I only lost the dollar. Well, we've seen before on this trade idea and on this strategy where we've gotten the pin, right, on butterflies, where we've had an excellent risk versus reward scenario where we've seen, 700% return on the initial risk that we had out there. So the idea, of course, is with that 700% return, it easily covers a loser like we had on Friday for letting the cash settlement happen. So that's, really what I wanted to focus on today, guys, is first of all, this is a great strategy, of course. And for those of you interested, I will be talking about this further on a webinar coming up on Wednesday, August 3rd. But the main thing I really want you to take away here is being mindful of your risk, right? Is the idea that how much is your money having to work in order to get you a profit? If you're putting out a lot of risk and you're only having a small return, you might want to question yourself, is it really a good idea to put that much capital risk out there if I'm only getting a small percentage back of that, right? And of course, if it's a strategy that makes sense for you, if you like it, then, and it's working, of course, then keep doing it. But also take into consideration something like this, where it is a very small capital risk. Certainly, if you have the ability to day trade, it is a more consistent winner in that case. But at the same time, in general, right, seeing if you can put a small amount of capital, maybe a fraction of what you normally do, and see if you can't get a decent return out of that. So thank you for joining me in this video, and hopefully some education and thoughts for the future. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. As always, may the trade be with you, my fellow Jedis, and I look forward to talking to you next time. Bye. Hey, Allison Ostrander here, Director of Risk Tolerance at Simpler Trading. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like and comment down below to help us out. Also, be sure to subscribe and click the bell icon so you can get notified when we release our next video. And if you want to watch us trade in real time using our own money, go to simplertrading.com to learn how to sign up. As always, may the trade be with you, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.